What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we have the data download for the After Party Sugo-Fest featuring Shank's Buggy and the Blackbeard versus Whitebeard, and of course we've already made the two videos discussing the two new Sugo-Fest exclusives. If you want information on that, go check it out on the YouTube channel and give our first thought and impressions on these two new units. They seem interesting enough for sure, but you know, we are relatively close now to that guy, so I think it'd be a wiser decision for most people to skip this Sugo-Fest. But one thing to note about this banner is the fact that this is going to be our month's treasure map Sugo-Fest, which is actually kind of cool, right, in one aspect, because they're kind of combining two banners together, where normally we'd have the generic Sugo-Fest for the month, and then they'd have a separate treasure map banner. They're just kind of combining them this month, which I think is honestly a good thing. It's one less banner you have to spend on, which is cool. Anyways, in terms of what this banner has in store for us, it's debuting June 9th, Part 2, June 10, and surprise, surprise, June 11th for Part 3, and you can see Legend Hina is on Part 2, Legend Jinbei on Part 3, so treasure map legends are available, likely treasure map rare recruits are also available, which is good. This Sugo-Fest structure though is pretty trash. It's basically like a normal legend release banner where, you know, guaranteed legend on 4, limited on 8, super limit on 12, super limit 15, the 25th multi, should we say, of Part 1, you're not even guaranteed to get any of the two new units. If you go to Part 2 though, this is the banner focusing on Whitebeard and Blackbeard. Shanks and Buggy are focused on Part 3, and these look to be just generic typical legends. They don't look to be treasure map legends, they're not anniversary, they're not super Sugos, these are just generic legends. So these are going to be characters that you should be able to get a hold of a lot more in the future from red tickets and stuff like that. So don't feel too stressed about not pulling them right now, because you will be able to get them in the future a little bit more accessibly, right? But we've already talked about the legends in my previous two videos, but we need to talk about the rare recruits. So let's go ahead and start doing that, because these units are kind of interesting. So the first one being Vista and Marco. So this unit is Psy, Powerhouse, and Slasher. Captain ability doesn't matter. The special though, 50k fixed damage, decent. Reduces cruise cooldown by 1 is okay, and then reduces special bind by 6 turns. That's pretty good. That's very, very nice. But then also gives Psy and Powerhouse 2 times attack for 3 turns. Now, you look at this now, and like 2 times attack boost for 3 turns is kind of like whatever, you know, sure, it's a bit of extra damage, but you're not going to be using it to like kill a boss, for example. But there's some things in this batch that do make this attack boost a little bit more worthwhile. We'll talk about that very, very shortly. Now, another thing that kind of pisses me off about this unit is their crewmate abilities, because, you know, you've got the ability to remove 6 turns of special bind, the ability to resist 2 turns of special reverse, but the issue is that for both of these effects to activate, you do need to have a Powerhouse or a Slasher captain. So, not a fan of that, honestly. Very, very strange in order to do that, but I guess, you know, if they released a bunch of these units that just did all these things for free, then it's like, why do you even need to pull for these units, right? Because, you know, there's so many other units in the game that can do similar things, but if they restrict them to only being used in certain teams, it kind of makes these units a little bit more valuable, I suppose. And then this character does have a support, so the support attaches to Ace, Jozu, Whitebeard, Namur, and Blenheim, and unfortunately it's only for the supported unit, but removes 2 turns of special bind on the supported unit when they're inflicted with it. So it's fine. It would be better if it was like 1 turn for the whole crew. It would have been absolutely busted. They also have hunger removal in their potential ability, pinch healing, whatever. So look, this unit's actually pretty good though, because 6 turns of special bind removal is super uncommon, and especially for a generic rare recruit. So you take it as it comes, but this is a unit that we'll see, you know, moderate usage, I feel. The next one on the list is going to be Rakuyo, Blenheim, and Namur. So this character here is also Psy, Powerhouse, and Slasher with a captain ability that does not matter. But then you move on to this special. So it does a lot of different things. First of which, removes damage reduction by 6, which is Rainbow Shield by 6 turns. It also cuts the crew's HP by 80% and then deals 30 times the subtracted HP as typeless damage to a single target. So it is a damage dealing special, which is good. And then it says that if your crew has an attack boost when you launch the special, it's going to further increase the attack boost by 0.25. So that does seem pretty good. It makes the Marco and Vista that we just talked about, they become a 2.25 times attack boost for 3 turns. So that's a little better, right? But it gets even better with this, because it says that when you launch the special of this unit, it says that it adds 0.4 to the effect of an attack boost that are launched after this special by a Psy or a Powerhouse character. And it does include supports too. So ideally what you do is you launch this character first, then Marco and Vista, and it makes Marco and Vista's 2x attack boost a 2.4 times attack boost for 3 turns. So it obviously makes it a lot better. But like, this can work for any Sai or Powerhouse unit. Getting a 0.4 increase is pretty substantial, especially from a rare recruit. And I like it because you can use supports as well to get a buff from this. If you got a support that gives you like a 1.5 boost or whatever, becomes a 1.9 boost, almost like a free 2x damage boost from a support, is pretty crazy, right? So, you know, they seem pretty decent. In terms of the crewmate abilities, the first one doesn't really matter too much, but then also, you know, removing 5 turns of remove SFX or the blindness debuff. It's kind of cool. Hopefully the treasure map doesn't have too much of that blindness that we have to deal with. And then in terms of the support of this unit, it attaches to similar units: Ace, Marco, Jozu, Vista, and Whitebeard. And then, unfortunately, it only can be used on a character that uses a special that removes paralysis and removes bind, and it just reduces a further 1 turn of it. So it's an okay support for sure. I can't think of too many units off the top of my head from this list that remove bind or paralysis. The only one that really comes to mind is the Strength Rev Recruit Marco. It does remove bind by 5 turns, so this can make it become 6. So that's kind of cool, but any of these units that do that, you can just get a free additional turn removal, which is kind of nice. And then the final rare recruit of this batch is Diamond Jozu, and this character I'm very much excited for because of his support effects, which we'll get to in a moment, but he's a Dex powerhouse fighter. Special ability does a lot of different things. It's a damage dealing special, which is good. It reduces defense up and damage threshold by 5 turns. Very nice to have. If the crew's HP is 50% or higher when you launch the special, you get a 50% damage reduction for 3 turns. It's fine. Also get a 0.8 chain boost for 1 turn. Fair enough. And then if you hit 2 perfects during the turn that you launch the special, you get a 1.0 chain boost in the next turn after that. So it's okay. I mean, it's you know, the good utility of defense up and threshold removal is fantastic. Damage reduction is kind of whatever, but then the chain boost is like a really nice added bonus. But then it further says that if you use the special when you're below 50%, then instead you get 70% damage reduction, and then you get a 1.2 chain boost, and then a 1.2 chain boost in the turn after that, after the 2 perfects. So obviously you get the most out of it if you use his special below 50%, but at the end of the day, you're most likely just using him for the defense up and the threshold removal. And the fact that it's a unit that does a damage dealing special means that supports are a bit more accessible with this unit, which is good. In terms of his crewmate abilities, the first one does make Dex slots matching for Powerhouse, is good, and then just some base stats. He has slot bind removal, which is nice, and then the support effect, as we were saying, this thing is so good. So Ace, Marco, Vista, Whitebeard, Namur, or Blenheim. And then if you just use the special, remove defense up and threshold by 1 turn. Like, that is just absolutely godly. This is a support that will definitely see play. But then this one really came out of nowhere. So we had a download for a new support Sugo-Fest. This one is going to be lasting for quite a while though, so we don't have to worry about, another support coming anytime soon. But obviously this is replacing the Otama during the anniversary celebration. And this support is really focused and honed in on boosting the Whitebeard and Blackbeard characters that are debuting in the Sugo. So what this character actually does is super unique. So anyways, we'll get into it. June 12th is when this is going to be debuting, and it's pretty much the exact same support banner that we come to know and love. It's pretty typical stuff, but we'll get into what this unit does because his support is very crazy. So it attaches to Ace, Whitebeard, Blackbeard, Sengoku, and Sakazuki, so a pretty good pool of units. And then what it does, the character has to be the captain, number 1, and they have to have a damage dealing special. So there has to be 2 conditions, well technically 3. The right character as the captain with a damage dealing special. So lots of conditions have to be fulfilled. However, if you get it to work, when you launch the special of that unit, it gives your character 10 turns of despair, right? 10 turns of despair is inflicted to your captain, but you get a 2.5 times attack boost to Powerhouse for 1 turn and remove 4 turns of resilience. Now this, on paper, seems very strange, and it is, right? Because 10 turns of despair from a support on your own crew is just very weird. But it goes really well with the new Sugo-Fest exclusive character of the Blackbeard and Whitebeard character, because of the way that the captain ability works. So you have the Whitebeard side, where at the bottom it says that he reduces despair by 10 turns, so it mitigates the effect, the negative effect from the squad support. And then you have the other side with Blackbeard, which in the middle of this text box here, it says if the crew is inflicted with despair from specials launched by the crew, including supports, or by the enemy attack, you convert it into a 1.2 chain multiplicative buff for 3 turns. So that's really cool. So no matter which one you use, whether it's the new Blackbeard or the new Whitebeard, the new support will work on this unit, allowing you to get a free attack boost when you launch the special, as well as remove enemy resilience. So I like that there is fantastic synergy here. The only real problem is I don't know how useful that support is going to be on like more characters in the future, because, you know, there's just not a lot of characters that I think are going to abuse this that much, because, you know, it has to be for Powerhouse only, unfortunately. I guess technically you could use it on Versus Akainu, because I believe he also does a damage dealing special and he's an orb booster, so this allows you to get an attack boost for Powerhouse. But then you need to have some sort of way to remove like 7 turns of resilience because of, you know, your sockets removing it. You know, obviously the new ship modifications could help you remove some more despair, which is really, really cool. So yeah, I think this support is good. It's a very good support. It will see some play for sure, but it really comes down to you having the right team that can build around this. But if you're using the new legends, of course, it really doesn't matter. You're always going to be able to remove the despair on your crew. But that's pretty much it. That's the breakdown of the new stuff that's coming in terms of the Sugo-Fest, in terms of the new characters, the new red recruits. Very, very interesting stuff for sure. But that is going to wrap it up for me. Thank you so much for watching the video, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.